Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. The New York Knicks just came out victorious up against the Miami Heat at Madison Square Garden, the final score being 125 to 109. And with this win, the New York Knicks improved to 29-17 on the season. And the New York Knicks are now that fourth seed once again. I believe they were just bumped down to that fifth seed after the Cavs came out with a huge victory up against the Milwaukee Bucks. But now we're the fourth seed again. It's so crazy, the game differential, like the record differential between like the fifth seed or the fourth seed to like the sixth seed. Literally, if a sixth seed goes on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak, they can get bumped up right to that fifth seed. That's how close it is right now in the standings. But there's a lot to unpack in this basketball game. First off, I want to address Julius Randle. I hope he has a speedy recovery. It really sucks. A very promising, amazing win to watch. And then we see Julius Randle go down in those final 4 minutes of this basketball game in the fourth quarter. And my question to ask you guys, do you think Julius Randle should have been out there, or do you think that was a mistake on Tom Thibodeau's part, or do you also look at it, even though we were up double digits, this is the Miami Heat, this is a battle-tested team, you know, they can come back, they have that ability to come back with Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, he had it going from 3, Tyler Hero, he can get hot as well, Kevin Love's a veteran in this league, so do you think it was the right decision to have Julius Randle out there on the basketball floor, or do you think it was a freak accident and it could have literally happened to anyone? If you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you did not catch this game, Julius Randle had the basketball, he dribble penetrated, worked down the lane, and he drew a foul and he landed pretty bad on his right shoulder. But we have the best news we can get when it comes to Julius Randle's shoulder injury. It is not a torn labrum. He's not going to need to require, like he's not going to need surgery, which is a promising sign or a good sign for Julius Randle. And of course, the first initial report that came out, I thought he was going to need surgery because Tom Thibodeau said he was really concerned. A report that came out by Ian Begley, but then the test came out in the x-ray. There's not much damage and it is a dislocated shoulder. So when you look at it like that, not a lot of damage, you know, doesn't need surgery, and there's still a lot of games to go. We're not even at All-Star break, so that is encouraging. We play the Hornets next, but at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of depth when it comes to scoring the basketball. OG Anunoby is going to be our second option scoring the rock, so that's going to be very interesting. Obviously, we have Dante DiVincenzo that can shoot threes, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how this offense functions without Randle, because you cannot be a big Randle fan, but at the end of the day, we really need him. Like, we can talk about the playoffs, but we really need him in the regular season. He's a 25 point per game scorer, near 10 rebound per game guy, and when he's on, he could distribute the basketball and kick it out to OG for those corner threes. And it just sucks to lose Randle. A 3-level scorer adds versatility to the offense, helps us win games, no doubt about it. Again, we could address the playoffs, and everyone's going to have their different stance. But if you don't think losing Randle's a big loss, I don't know what to tell you. In my opinion, it definitely is a big loss. I'm not sure how many games he's going to be out, but we got the best news possible that we can get, and not like he's going to be out for the season. So that's very encouraging to see, and I try to do my best research as possible for you guys. It looks like he's not going to need surgery, so that's really good. And we know Randle's a tough dude, but I hope we don't rush him back at the same time. Again, we play the Hornets next, so that's very encouraging. We should win that game, as they're one of the worst teams in basketball, but then you never know in the NBA. So positive news, because it seems like I was just talking about like negative shit. I'm sorry, I just wanted to get that out of the way. The New York Knicks just had a great W up against the Miami Heat, and just an action-packed basketball game. The New York Knicks down 14-3 early. You know, we were down 3 entering that second quarter, and then we enter halftime up 10, and we're only up a couple. We're up 3 entering that fourth quarter. Then it turns out to be a 20-plus point blowout by the New York Knicks. There's a lot to unpack in this basketball game. Like, the Knicks were faced with adversity. They're thriving with positivity. You know, a lot of scores in this game. The defense was amazing, executing from downtown, dribble penetrating, getting into the paint. I just love this game. It was one of the best games that I've seen from the New York Knicks this season. Maybe you can, like, outside of the first maybe 6 minutes of the first quarter, because that was really sloppy, because the Knicks we're down 14-3 early on in this game, and it wasn't looking pretty. I'm like, oh my gosh, is Erik Spoelstra exposing our defense? Is he out-coaching Tom Thibodeau? Duncan Robinson was getting some open looks. Tyler Hero was creating and scoring, and it's not even like Jimmy Butler was scoring at a very high level early on in this game. Bam Adebayo was getting some lob opportunities if it was a lob and a layup, a lob and a dunk. So it was a very frustrating start by the offense, and the defense, we just looked stagnant as a group. But who I really have to give credit to, we could talk about Randle, who I thought hit a key 3 to help the comeback. Jalen Brunson, of course, who's amazing, 32 points, 8 assists, over 50% from the field, over 50% from 3, 0 turnovers. And this is a team that we took on in the second round of the playoffs. You would think they have a game plan to just get the ball out of his hands, and maybe they did, and they just couldn't get the ball out of his hands. But I thought thought this was going to be a more competitive game when it comes to the fourth quarter, especially the way this game started, the playoff history of playing them last year. We played the Heat at the beginning of the season. It came down to a final shot by Jimmy Butler, RJ Barrett defending him on the right wing, and Jimmy Butler's not able to execute from downtown, and that was in comeback fashion, so there was some adversity there. But yeah, we could talk about Brunson, we could talk about Randle, but I want to address the bench. And don't worry, we're going to be getting into another starter who I thought really helped set the tone as well after getting out of that funk. McBride hit a key three when he came off the bench, and the main guy I'm talking about is Josh Hart. He was awesome in this game. We're going to talk about Brunson's numbers, Randle's numbers. We're going to talk about, like, obviously OG Anunoby, who I'm going to give credit to as well. Just a lot of guys deserve credit, but Josh Hart was aggressive when entering the game. He was having defense lead to offense, just making stops. We went on a run when you check in the game. I believe we went on a 9-0 run, taking it coast to coast. He had a poster, and I'm like, test this dude for PEDs. I've never seen him have that poster in transition in my life. Maybe I was tripping, but he was knocking threes down, and like garbage time, he had a step back three. Like, we know what he brings defensively. We know what he brings on the boards, but he played a very nice offensive game. It didn't matter the bodies they were throwing at him. It didn't matter how physical they were. Josh Hart was finishing through contact and had and ones in transition. I just love the way he read the game. No complaints at all when it comes to Josh Hart. Josh Hart played one hell of a game and really got the Garden rocking. There was Drake at this game. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Of course, my man Tracy Morgan, big time Knicks fan, was rocking the Slam Jalen Brunson shirt. I need to get one of those shirts because Jalen Brunson is him. Jalen Brunson is that freaking guy. He should be an all-star starter, but the New York Knicks has really got it going. Dante DiVincenzo, dribble handoffs, contested. Doesn't matter that he's not 6'6". He has such a high set point, or he dips the ball a little bit, but he's a very high arc. And it feels like when he makes shots, it's always a swish. It's just always a swish, only hits the nets. It's really rare when it just rattles in. He had it going from beyond the arc, and the Knicks just really locked in defensively. OG Anunoby was a freaking pest. This dude continues to be a beast. Only 2 losses under the OG Anunoby era. One of those losses coming against the Magic, who we just don't match up well against. I believe we got swept by the Magic last season, and we're 0-2 against them. Obviously, the first time RJ Barrett was on the roster quickly. It was a differently assembled team when it comes to depth and the starting lineup, having RJ Barrett and then quickly come off the bench as that 6th man. But also in that Magic game, we had no Jalen Brunson. I'm trying to remember what that other game was, but Anunoby, you have to give credit to him as well. He helped get our offense going a little bit when it came to dribble penetrating, going right at Hawkes, who's a rookie. He was very impressive coming out of UCLA, but he drew the foul, had the and one, used his physicality. We got an aggressive OG Anunoby once again. And maybe he does have the ability to be aggressive, or he is. He just had to get used to the system. It's a different system than Darko runs. There's a lot of more off-ball action, but there was a lot of off-ball action actually in this game, and since OG's actually been a part of this team, we're actually utilizing him the right way, which I freaking love. Randle had a very nice pass when OG Anunoby was cutting to the basket, and he threw it down early on in this game. OG, 19 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, hit some threes in this game, and we're going to talk about his mid-range game as well, but you have to really give credit to OG, Josh Hart, Randle hitting the 3, Brunson, just DiVincenzo, the bench. Grimes played some solid defense. Grimes got some big bucks in the fourth quarter, McBride for 3, so there's a lot of key reasons why we ended up going on a run. Even Hartenstein had a bucket in the interior. This was Hartenstein's first game back since that ankle injury. Did look rusty. It looked like he was on minute restriction, or maybe Tom Thibodeau was just like, he's not playing that well. We're going to take him out of the game. So when you look at it right there, we were down a couple after that first quarter, but yeah, Hartenstein looked a step slow, played 16 minutes, but it was encouraging the way we closed out the quarter because it could have been a lot worse. You're down 14-3, and the Heat are looking for revenge. They're on a 5-game losing streak. The way it ended in the first game, we played them at the very beginning of the season, but very encouraging. So we're down a few entering that second quarter, but this is where the New York Knicks explode. They just absolutely explode, and this is where you got to give credit to OG Anunoby. He was consistent throughout this game, but the mid-range game, man, his handle doesn't need work. Sometimes he struggles to get to the basket, and he can get bottled up or lose the ball off his leg, or someone could just deflect the ball off of his leg. But he looks like, obviously not as good as this player, but he's very good defensively, has length, he's a good athlete, and he's great from mid-range. He's like a worse Kawhi Leonard, which is a compliment. That's a compliment. He's quiet demeanor, all about business, getting to the mid-range game, and even a play in this. It was in the third quarter, though. Blew by baller, threw it down. I just have loved the way OG Anunoby's been playing. Just knocking down the 3-ball. I just love what he brings to the table. Plays within the flow of the offense. Doesn't hurt the offense even when he's off. He just takes the right shots, and he's looking to get his as well. And it's the perfect time because, unfortunately, Randle got hurt. But he has the opportunity to showcase his offense skill set that maybe he's been working on and didn't really get to show up against the Hornets. And I'm not saying he's a crazy crazy offensive bag or anything like that, but you love seeing him put his body into someone, shoot a fadeaway jumper, and just look to create his own offense, because we're going to need that because we don't have a lot of self-creators in this offense. But just the defense, forcing turnovers, and we didn't have a lot of fast break points when it came to the first half. They had the majority of them. We did have some turnovers, but we were up 10 after that second quarter. Just no one is able to stop Brunson. You throw Caleb Martin at him, didn't matter. You know, just any defensive assignment, Hawkes, just what he's able to do out there on the floor is unbelievable at 6'2". You know, the step throughs, the half spin to get to the floater, just his footwork out of the post, just high arcing shots that go in, unbelievable. Efficient game from three, just 6 of the last 7 games, 30+ points. Casual NBA fans may look at, oh, that's not 50. Look at Luka dropped 72 points, which is freaking insane. Or, yeah, it was 72 points. But what he's been doing on a consistent basis in the efficiency is insane. And him even distributing the ball, he made some really key reads in this game that you have to just really be proud of the way Jalen Brunson played. But we're up 10, and Jimmy Butler was kind of quiet in that first half. He had buckets, but it wasn't at a very high level. It felt like Bam Adebayo wasn't scoring at a very high level. We did get lucky at times. Well, there was one time we left Kevin open from 3, didn't execute, but we were slow, kind of just running around chasing Duncan Robinson, which is tough. Duncan Robinson moves around screens like crazy, and he could shoot the 3 ball at a very high level, and he shot the 3 ball very well. But we did a good job on Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero scored, but he was 7 for 17, and we forced him to get into the interior and not get those shots from the perimeter as much when it came to the second half. So that was really encouraging, but obviously the depth when they stepped up, and as well as when we started going to the basket instead of settling, I thought that's where we got better. Julius Randle played, like, let's get into the third quarter. Third quarter, mixed emotions, because that's when we started really starting to kill them. Or, like, second quarter, obviously we took over in that second quarter. Just it was a collective team effort. But in the third quarter looked like, or no, the third quarter, at the beginning of it, I'm sorry, it got scary. Because there was a function with the clock, about malfunction with the clock and all that. They're working on that, so the halftime was extended, and I want to say at least an extra like 5 to 6 minutes. I'm like, all right, we'll see how this goes. I still have a good feeling about this. And the Heat got off to a really good start because we were thriving when we were attacking, playing inside out. But Brunson right out the gate, I believe, takes a perimeter jumper. Randle does. Brunson gets blocked on a shot. Jimmy Butler just takes over in that third quarter. We had no answer for Jimmy Butler. Precious Achiuwa really struggled in the interior in that third quarter. Struggled offensively. I thought he forced a couple buckets around the basket. Then there was a layup he should have made, in my opinion. But Jimmy Butler's lethal with that pump fake. You know, he really is. There was a play, just a late closeout, or just not a strong closeout by Julius Randle. Drove to the basket, pump fake, and Precious Achiuwa tied him up on one play, but then on this play, he ended up committing a foul. He just really got Precious Achiuwa up in the air. Most of his buckets came in the interior, just like had consecutive and ones. Kevin Love outlet pass to Jimmy Butler for the and one. Duncan Robinson did 3. Even Caleb Martin did. I believe that was his only 3 of the game. He didn't really get going. But outside of Jimmy Butler, I thought we kept everyone in check. You could say Duncan Robinson, he really got it going. But when Jimmy Butler, because he's not, I wouldn't call him an elite scorer, obviously steps up in the playoffs, but it's not his game to just look to go off for 50 points. You know, I feel he looks to go off when he has to, and he looks to get his other teammates involved, but no one else was scoring at a high clip, so we were in pretty good shape. But we were up double digits in that third quarter. Obviously, we have that 10-point lead in that second quarter. So early on, we had this double-digit lead, but it just went away quick. It just really went away really quick in the third quarter due to Jimmy Butler, and it got to a point that he was going on such an insane run, and our offense wasn't clicking, and I wouldn't say our defense was terrible. We were just on, where you could say it was at times, because we were just undisciplined. That's a part of defense, and we just looked, when Brunson checked out of the game, the offensive flow just went away, and we just had no one to create, and it just looked bad. We had some turnovers and just one-and-dones offensively, but the Heat never ended up, even though they came back, they never ended up taking that lead in the second half, and they had an opportunity to. In that second half, it's a tie basketball game. Jimmy Butler just has this and one, shoots the free throw. Previously, this is like his only missed free throw of the game, misses the free throw, and this is where we have to really shout out Julius Randle. Jalen Brunson makes a beautiful play, great kick out, clock winding down, kick out to Julius Randle to beat the buzzer of the third quarter, and Randle hits a huge 3-point lead. And I'm thinking like, ooh, but the Heat do have some momentum, but that was a big shot by Randle. We're at the Garden. But the fourth quarter, we just take over. We end up winning this game by 20-plus points. You know, OG Anunoby had a key 3, and this is where Grimes deserves a lot of credit. Grimes got to the free throw line, jumped the passing lane, drew a foul. OG Anunoby even had to play jump the passing lane, reverse, like double clutch dunk, which is unbelievable. But Grimes has his 3 at the top of the key. Kick out by Brunson, and OG obviously starts fourth quarters. Grimes in the corner, pump no, not pump fake, step back three, which was key. We were just killing them in that fourth quarter. Like I mentioned, Josh Hart step back three. And after Jimmy Butler had, I want to say, a 13 or 14 point third quarter, it was like double digits, a little beyond that. I believe he had like 2 points in the fourth quarter. OG did a really good job on him, because even though Butler was scoring at a very high level, it was when I believe OG was out of the game. Brunson's obviously not a defensive player, but we were missing his offense. But in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Butler just really went quiet. The Heat's offense in general went quiet. And we really keyed in on that three-point shot more defensively. And I just thought we played it extremely, extremely well. And to give credit to Achua, I know he struggled at times defensively. He missed some shots maybe he should have made. But he snagged boards, which I really did appreciate from Achua's game. But just want to win by the New York Knicks. It was a very fun game to watch. Even McBride had a key drive at the beginning of the fourth quarter drive. We just took it to them. They're like, no, we're winning this freaking game. We're winning this game. Under the Anunoby era, this team, I don't know, we're just winning a bunch of different ways. It's just really fun to watch, and just credit this New York Knicks team. Randle stepped up offensively. I know he had some turnovers, but he actually had some very solid reads I liked as well. Just no one like, and Brunson just did his thing in the fourth quarter. Can't stop this dude. You just can't get into the floater, get into the mid-range. 3-point shot was falling, unbelievable. He's distributing the basketball when he's doing every phase, like when he's doing everything that's a part of the game. Even though I thought he made some underrated defensive plays, it's just really hard to stop this dude. His footwork's at another level, and he's a great manipulator. He's not crazy explosive. He's not really crazy fast or anything like that, you can say, but he's just such a smart player, and he's such a methodical player. I think that's a really great way to phrase it. And I wasn't watching this game with audio because I was on CK2K stream. He was commentating the game. I wanted to hear his thoughts throughout it. Shout out to CK2K, by the way. Subscribe to him. Big time Knicks fan. Great Knicks content creator. I wonder if the Garden just went quiet when Randle got hurt. Because in the final 4 minutes, the game was pretty much over. You can say at least the way the momentum was swinging throughout this game. But good win by the New York Knicks. We'll see how long Randle's out. I'm glad it's not seriously bad, but you just don't want him hurt in general. And at least, of course, you never want someone to get hurt, but at least it's not like final 10 games of the season he's getting hurt. You know what I mean? Let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.